Welcome to Key Biscayne Stories, where neighbors meet neighbors. Today we have Ceci and Eduardo Sánchez. They've been in the Key since 1960, so 65 years. It's a lot of time. You guys probably have seen the Key transform. That must have been pretty interesting, seeing the transformation.
Absolutely.
How are you guys doing today?
Fine, great.
Yeah?
Gorgeous day.
Yes, it is. So some of the first questions we'd like to ask is, how did you guys get to the Key? How did that story start? Ceci, would you like to go first?
All right. Well, I was born in Havana, Cuba.
Yeah.
And one day we used to go summer in a gorgeous beach called Varadero. And my mother told me, don't tell anyone, but we're leaving Sunday. This was a Saturday when she was talking to me. Sunday, we're going to Havana, back to Havana, and we're taking the ferry to Key West. Do not say anything to any of your friends. You cannot, just keep it quiet. And exactly that's what happened. We went back home. He gave me a little weekend bag, which I thought, well, if we're going to Miami, that means, I guess, we're going to go to the beach too. So we just put some swimsuits and some shorts, some romance little novels that I was reading, and a few trinkets. And we got on the ferry and we got here. And the first place, my uncle had arrived a couple of maybe weeks before us. He went to pick us up in Key West, brought us to Key Biscayne. And my mom rented. He was my mother, myself, and I had 3 siblings. I was 14. My youngest brother was 7. So we ended up at what is now La Fair, used to be called Crandon Courts. So she
Motel.
rented motel, and she rented 2 efficiencies there. And that's how we started.
You, Eduardo?
I came in June 1960. My mother was married to a Air Force major that during the Batista government, and they had to leave Cuba in 1959. So she was already here. I stayed 1960 to finish my high school in Havana, which I did not. And I came over, and my mother was already here. Yes, my mother was already here since 1959. So I came as a student with a student visa, and I did not finish my high school because I started working for my uncle, which was based in Key West. He had a yes. My uncle was married to my mother's sister, and my uncle was her mother's brother.
I should put a chart. To explain. Yeah.
Okay, so my uncle had a boat, a sub chaser, 110 feet long, and he was taking trips to Cuba, infiltrating teams and ammunition, weapons, and explosives. And I went to work with him, and then I went to finish high school in Miami.
Okay. So the work was taking those things to Cuba.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, he took 12 trips to Cuba. Now in December 1960, January, February, and March of 1961.
Ceci coming in from Key West, you from Miami, then working in Key West. Where did you guys already knew each other, right? So how did you guys first meet?
Oh, well, at that time, they were, no internet, no cell phones, but you learn who was here. Oh, so and so just arrived. And so we started to find out which of our friends were here. And we would sometimes plan to meet. It was downtown, actually, where you ended up going, the old Walgreens there in Flagler. And I remember we planned a party that I am almost certain this is how it happened. We planned a party at the beach club on the third for New Year's Eve. This is with beach club here,
Here, okay.
and I think we were charging $1. And I volunteered to stand at that corner of Flagler, and I don't remember what street it is.
Miami Avenue.
Miami Avenue there, the old Walgreens, so that people would come and give me the dollars so that we could buy potato chips and some Coke or something like that. And we had a record player, and we because a few of our Cuban friends had already, their families had already left Cuba. And that's kind of how we all started the network of who's here. So to us, in a way, even though we lost our home or, the your way of life, you felt kind of more, how would you say, you had some of your old friends here, let's say, for support. My mom didn't like Key Biscayne at all. She had gone to school in New York. She was much more comfortable there. So she decided, no, 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 I'll move to New York that first year. So that summer we were here, and then she left for New York with my two younger brothers. I went to boarding school in Philadelphia, the same school of the nuns that I went in Cuba. They opened it to anyone if they could pay or weren't able to pay. It was kind of like a Peter Pan. All the girls could come, and this was not a boarding school. They started to make little rooms any place they could to facilitate, and it was really wonderful. Although that year really was, in my case, extremely traumatic. Um, as you know, um, 1961 was the Bay of Pigs, was the invasion to Cuba to try to liberate Cuba. And my father, who was 38 years at the time, he called me one day. He still, all that time from 1960 to January 1961, February 1961, you could still travel back and forth because my father did. And he then called me saying, I want you to know that I've just registered for uh, being, how would you say, go to the training camps to prepare for an invasion to Cuba. And that he said that to him, he felt it was his duty to do that, and that he would write to me. And he wrote, and I wrote him back. And unfortunately, he died. Um, the invasion was I would say, let's not go political, but it was a failure. And my father died.
He participated.
He,
He was
this,
of the invasion.
yes, and he was, when they took them prisoners, they ran. Remember, the Kennedy administration broke the promises, and they were left there between the swamps on the bay, and they ran out of ammunition. So somehow, I don't know exactly the details because I've tried to find out and I have never been able to get the facts right, but apparently my father was captured somewhere trying to run away. And he was then put in a metal, unventilated metal truck, stuffed with more than 100. We don't know exactly the details of. It was 130, 150 men in an unventilated truck
It took 9 hours.
to go back to Havana, and he suffocated. They asphyxiated there. So, at least my life, my perspective of life, I was again 14 years old, was very different after that. By the way, we had returned to Key Biscayne after that school year, and this happened in April of 1961. We came back. I could tell you the addresses of where I turned 15, 16, 17, like that.
Yeah.
I was living on Harbor Drive.
Going back a little bit to that party before we touch on the other things you mentioned. You guys knew each other from back in the day, but that party, is that significant to how you guys met?
No.
No.
Okay, so
Because he would go to Varadero in the summers to my uncle's house in Varadero, and I would visit my cousin, and I would see him there.
yeah. So how did you guys start?
Dating, you mean?
Yeah, dating the I guess the yeah towards marriage.
Maybe he can tell you, or
Or you go ahead and tell him.
I had adopted 2 children. At that time, maybe they were, ooh,
5 and 3.
no. When we got married, they were 3. My daughter was 3 and Alex was 5. But when this happened, maybe my ex-husband left me when my daughter was less than a year old.
Okay.
So here I am at the yacht club with 2 little children going down, just passing the time, etc. And I hadn't seen him in a while, and he's coming down the dock. So when I see him, I go and greet him. What is this? What happened to me? And I guess maybe something happened there that he then called me and he invited me out to dinner.
So how was that experience from your side, walking down the dock and meeting Ceci again after a while and getting?
Let me tell you. I used to keep my boat at the yacht club. So I was there working on my boat, and I see her walking towards me on the dock. And I tried to say hello, and she starts crying. And she starts crying, and she keeps crying and telling me what's happening to her. So immediately that hit the vein on me. I reacted, and I said, things are gonna get better. You trust in yourself, trust in God, and things will get better. And I invited her to go out, and that's how we started.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then when it started to get a little serious, then I guess he accepted an offer to go to Puerto Rico, where he was.
I was working with AT&T. The Commonwealth of Puerto Rico had bought the telephone company from ITT, and they signed a contract. The Commonwealth of Puerto Rico signed a contract with ATT for consulting services. So I was hired to go there and provide that. So initially it was going to be 3 months. I spent 3 years.
So I guess, in the distance, and what he said was true. You have to learn to stand on your 2 feet, and. So he would come sometimes to see his mom, see me, this and that, and then I guess he chose between the several girlfriends he had.
Yeah.
Me.
Oh, let me the contract we had with the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico entailed that we could fly home every 3 weeks or 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So I will fly. No, it was excellent.
Pretty good.
No, not only that, we were housed at the San Juan Hotel, which is A1, right on the beach. Then they cut it on, we went to the Excelsior Hotel, which was second class.
Okay.
Right. But they used to fly us every 3 or 4 weeks, and I would use the resources because they would pay for the ticket. And the person who had the ticket agency was a friend of mine. So instead of flying to Miami every 3 weeks, I would fly every 3 weeks to Washington. The next 3 weeks, I would fly to Miami because I had a girlfriend in Washington also.
Okay.
Ugh.
And I had a girlfriend in Puerto Rico also.
Okay.
So it was, 3 weeks here, 3 weeks in Washington, 3 weeks in Miami.
Wonderful.
Different
So it was a wonderful time.
times. Okay, so you guys, you were working in Puerto Rico. You were here in the Key. You were coming to visit.
I was a social worker
Okay.
at the time.
Okay, working for whom?
Aid to families with dependent children. Was an eye opener,
Okay.
and you learn.
That was federal state.
Aids to family with dependent children.
That's it. That's it.
I think actually is might have some federal, but I think it was Dade County.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So I guess Puerto Rico ends at some point, and then when do you guys get married?
yeah, then his time was over, no? And then
No. At that time, AT&T signed a contract with the government of Iran,
but you
and I was offered going to Iran. At that time, it was the Shah.
What is that?
Before the Ayatollahs, she was the Shah of Iran, a monarch.
Oh, okay, the type of government. Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
But I was already dating, so I said, no, thank you. Let it go by. So I came and stayed in Miami.
so he married me and had 5 German shepherds and 2 little kids.
We were married in 1976.
Okay.
You remember what date? You remember the date?
June the 18th.
Wrong. August the 8th, 1976.
No, that's right. That's right.
And I was single. Remember where I came from? I came from staying at a first-class hotel in San Juan with a 3-week, being able to travel back and forth, all expenses paid, not a worry in my mind. And I came and I got married to this lady who had 7 German Shepherds.
No, 5.5.
Okay, 6
Just have what
Because I had a pituitary dwarf. I have a little one.
but 5 of them were full size. Okay, and she was living in a Maco.
Okay, one of the original homes out.
All right.
There in Ridgewood, which later on we remodeled.
So I came from a life of splendor to being married to this lady with 5 shepherds, 2 children, and a station wagon.
Okay, but so since then, I have some questions about how the Key has transformed since then.
Here I am living in this house.
Yeah.
In the corner of Hampton and Ridgewood, 250 Ridgewood Road, and my neighbor in the back, a doctor.
Yeah.
One day, I see him with a pad writing things down. I said, "Sir, is there something wrong? What are you doing?" Because I had fence when I bought that house. I I had fence for the children, the peerless fence. I I said, "What are you doing here?" And I said, "I'm the owner. This is my house." I said, "Impossible. This could not be your house." This, I guess he looked at me that it was too young. How could I own the house? So you had, you know, Key Biscayne was different. Um, Number one, it was, other people from other places. Maybe would you say, the language, the accent, this or that. And also some of those houses, they were Key Biscayne, a lot of the houses, you didn't have fences around houses. So, things started to change when we married and then we were remodeling the house. I went to the neighbor across the street and I asked the lady, we are asking for a variance. It requires a signature. And the lady tells me, "Why should you have a house bigger than mine?" So I'm just telling you, you're asking me how Key Biscayne was.
Yeah, claro, that's the
You
idea.
had all of that. You had, did you have, did you have Spanish speaking people in the Chamber of Commerce?
The Chamber of Commerce was around by then.
Yeah.
I don't know what
The
it. Sorry,
Chamber of Commerce.
I should have asked.
Jane Yarnell, I would say, was kind of the spirit or embodied. Um, they had a little place inside the Key Biscayne Bank.
So you mentioned there is no William Powell,
Mm.
no big bridge.
No, we had the
The small- they had-
the drawbridge. I mean, I had to do. I went to. I did my 11th and 12th grade at Immaculata Academy, now La Salle.
Okay.
Immaculata. Eduardo inherited or was lent his brother's old clunker car that we used to call the avocado because it was that color, avocado. And he needed some, I guess, money for gas, etc. So he was doing his senior year at La Salle, that he can tell you that he was one of the, but that's, let him tell you that story. But he would uh, carpool. So my mom could keep her car for her life and my three brothers, whatever, and he would be my carpool to Immaculada, just like Margaret Carter's daughter, Pam Mullet. And, I don't know how much he charged for doing the carpool thing, but he was my ride to school. Now, you needed to do an assignment. No computers, remember, at the time. You went to the Miami-Dade Public Library downtown in Bayfront Park. No longer there. But I used to take the bus. You took the bus to downtown. Downtown was important at the time.
And in the Key, what did we have in the Key?
Vernon's was a place. Oh, their Sundays were great. I mean, any little deal, like I had to buy something for my mom, I would buy her a perfume or something at Vernon's because Vernon's kind of sold everything. We had a wonderful
Where was Vernon's located?
Vernon's in the Ulster.
Pharmacy, right? Was it?
Yeah.
Vernon's drugstore. Where was it located?
He's in the corner of West Mashta and Crandon.
No, that's Westwood and Crandon, the corner.
That's what is that?
Which
Milanesa?
is now,
So that mall, was that mall there and Vernon was in that mall?
right in that corner.
Okay.
And the post office was a little booth in the back. That's where it was.
In Vernon's store.
And they had a telephone booth, the only telephone on the island at that time.
Well, when they found it.
When they found it.
Is that the historic telephone booth that is now stored at the Key Biscayne Historic
But
Clubs?
uh-huh.
Okay.
But where CBS was, there used to be a grocery store there.
Pantry Pride.
So we had two big grocery stores at the time.
I remember that when I was coming here from Peru to spend some time here in the Allen House, which is one of the first buildings.
Oh, yes.
My grandfather had a place there. So we would come from Peru, and I remember like this very vague memory of a second store.
Bakery, I don't remember exactly where it was, but we had a bakery.
Okay.
There were a lot of, and we had a great little 5 and 10 store where you could find all kinds of things, which is where now is Peruvian in the other corner,
Yeah, El Gran Inca.
El Gran Inca.
Okay.
Now, we of course had the English pub and the Jamaica Inn, were gorgeous. Then later on came Well, actually, we had there was a great fish restaurant there.
Chiefs.
No, well, Chiefs across the street from the Key Biscayne Bank, they had seafood there, apart from bait, that. But what I'm saying is the Royal Biscayne Hotel was a place where now Grand Bay,
There was a Sheraton there.
Well, the Royal Biscayne was a Sheraton.
Okay.
And the Key Biscayne Hotel was gorgeous. Eduardo was manager for a while there.
Yeah, it had 50 acres.
But actually, done by the Mathesons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Very, very nice restaurants. It was a place that
No, I still have a photograph. I have to look for it. Of Nixon and myself shaking hands. President Nixon.
At
At the Key Biscayne Hotel. Because he used to go there and stay there.
But
As a matter of fact, we kept villa. There were 69 villas in the hotel. The hotel that had 200 rooms and 69 villas.
Wow.
And in one of those villas was where President Kennedy met Nixon after the election, where Kennedy won, Nixon lost, and they met there. So I remember that really well.
And in the middle, because it was kind of U-shaped, and in the middle you had like between the hotel and the beach, you had like a little mini golf course. It was a very nice ambiance, and
Very waspish.
well, and then a little bar in there at night. You didn't want to go home after dinner, a place where you could go to have a drink and dancing, just like you had a place also with music at Sonesta. You had a lot more places here at the time where people could gather and with music and stay a while, I think.
Yeah, you're right. We don't really have a place now where you can dance. My friends, I have my friends go to the Ritz. I think once a week. I don't know if it's Friday. I don't know what day, but they do the salsa in the lobby. So they've invited my wife and I to go a couple of times. They go, they have a drink, or they maybe during like a special or something, and then they do some salsa right there and they dance a little bit, But that's it.
I remember then came Stefano. And then, oh my lord, that place got packed. So it was restaurant until a certain time, and then it was just the place to go and dance and stay there until what? I think it closed probably 3 o'clock or something like that in the morning. I remember my son used to work at Sonesta like Friday nights, Saturday nights, parking valet. And he would go at the end of his shift to Donut Gallery to have breakfast, and he would come home. He couldn't go to sleep because I guess all the commotion of running and getting cars. So we had really, I think it was a lot more active, the night scene in those years.
I
We're
think so.
talking about what, the 90s? By that time?
So when you were working at the Key, you were where exactly in life? You had already become a real estate agent and got in your Montessori.
When he was at the Key Biscayne Hotel, I was a real estate agent.
Okay.
And it was a wonderful, really wonderful time. Met a lot of, not only client-wise, but the realtors in Key Biscayne. You had started to have a mix. Key Biscayne became extremely international.
At that time, they had an outfit called REPA, Real Estate Professional Associations, of all the realtors. That ceased to exist when?
No, well, actually, Silvia Iriondo, uh, m- where I started it was called Iriondo Ecker Real Estate, and then later Silvia and Jutta Ecker, Swedish. Uh, they sold the company to Fortune International, but at that time, remember, the only thing that the realtors had was that big book where you had to look, no internet. You had to look for the listings. But we, being a small community here, we started, or Sylvia started, to organize as to an assistant would go to every real estate office, which we had several here at Key Biscayne, and get their listings. And then they would put them all together, compile them, and then give them back. So it was very easy for us Key Biscayne realtors to know exactly what properties were on the market. But there was a lot of camaraderie at the time. And of course, prices started to go up and up. And who would have imagined?
Prices back in the day were what? One of the original Michael homes was going for how much, for example?
Well, his brother bought his
My
house
brother
for-
bought his house for $17,000.
This is way back when? In the 60s, early 60s.
Early 60s.
Early 60s. Now, I bought the house in Ridgewood, 250 Ridgewood. Maybe it was $62,000 sometime in, let's say, 74. And then we remodeled the house. We sold it for about 350 or 375. I don't remember. Then we bought the houses on Cypress Drive
For 350.
for 350.
And at the time, you were still at the Key Biscayne Hotel?
At that time,
I think so.
yeah, I think so.
When do you transition to Key Colony?
2 years after.
But you want a date?
No, it doesn't have to be exact. So 2 years after you guys.
2 years after I bought my house.
Okay.
I remember at that time there was a slump, and I put my house. I fell in love with the Cypress lot because it was larger, and I ran out of space for my plants. I'm a plantaholic.
I thought you were going to say for the dogs and the kids before the plants.
Listen, at that point in time, we had purchased a new house without selling my old house. Okay?
And the market,
The
know how
market-
it is. It kind of froze for a while.
This is in the 70s.
70.
No, in the 80s, no.
Now we're in the okay.
When did we buy
85.
Cypress?
80,
Before Andrew?
85.
Okay, so you did get Cypress, the one you liked.
Yes,
For
we
the
bought it.
plants.
We bought it in 85 without selling Ridgewood.
Okay.
So I was paying a mortgage
on both.
on both.
But we were able to rent the Ridgewood house for that year. That saved us. And then we sold it. And then depending on my real estate commissions, we started to remodel the house. But I had a larger lot to continue my adventure with plants.
So what other things do you guys want to share with the community about the Key?
We had a beach. We lost the beach at some point. I remember this is again the 60s. You could not try, or even the early 70s. Sometimes when you went to the beach club and you wanted to, let's say, walk to Cape Florida and it was high tide,
You have to walk on the seawall.
you had to jump to the seawall of the Key Biscayne Hotel, walk through the ledge of the seawall, and then jump back because the water came all the way there, and there were several people involved that really worked very hard lobbying to get the
Beach renourishment.
renourished.
Okay.
And at that time, I think the first time that they brought the sand back to Key Biscayne, I think there was some flats right in front of the Cape Florida lighthouse out there.
Yeah.
And it was easier then.
To pump the sand.
They pumped the sand back.
Yeah.
But my understanding is that maybe when they dredged government cut, the flow of the sand was
It changed.
disturbed. And that's why we lost. We continue to lose the beach.
Oh, okay, because now we truck sand.
Mhm.
But I do remember,
Yes.
I do remember when I was coming to Island House from Peru and for vacation or the summers, I don't particularly remember a seawall, but I do remember the pumping of the sand into the beach. But now I know that the new thing now is to truck it here.
Unfortunately, we do not have, the sand right there. I remember the first time, I believe, first time or the second time of renourishment, the towers of Key Biscayne and the Commodores, they refused to pay their contribution towards the renourishment because they never lost the sand.
So, Ceci, I know you're very involved in the community. Both of you guys are very involved in the community because I see you together at a lot of events. I know that Ceci.
We don't miss one. We don't miss one meeting.
You guys don't miss a meeting. Ceci and I are part of the Chamber of Commerce. You were telling me before that you want more people in the Key to get involved,
Yes.
right? So tell us a little bit about that.
You can put all the excuses you want, but you can do it two ways. Your money, we can use your money, or give us your time. Give us your time. For example, I wish somebody to get to Miami-Dade County. Mr. Matheson, I already spoke with once. I would like that area between, or this is what I envision. We could have like a prairie or just native all for butterflies right between Calusa and the path to Calusa behind between St. Agnes and the 7-Eleven. That area there could be where there's nothing there. Let's clean it up. And we just plant, that could be our plant nursery. We only put stuff there for butterflies. Not only it's going to enhance, it would help the butterflies, but we could harvest and the seedlings that would pop up, we could use them in other areas and just encourage people to, let's say, monarchs, any of the butterflies, they need the food. They need the food to sustain themselves.
And the rest.
And also the plants where they can propagate.
Yeah. And that's one of the many other ways to get involved as well is people can join the chamber, or there's many advisory boards that the village has. Many, like we were talking before, the village is very philanthropic. So there's a lot of non-for-profits doing all sorts of work, from special needs to
Exactly.
education here
Exactly.
and abroad.
In the special needs, for example, some of them are able to they want to do something, they want to stay active, even in this part of what I'm saying in landscaping. That could be part of that.
Ceci and Eduardo, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
But before we finish, we have a couple of closing questions about the Key. I would say, what are some of your best memories or experiences in the Key?
I've lived here almost all my life. The Key is very much a part of me. It's kind of, I set my roots here. My children live in Colorado, so it's Ed and I, the dogs and my plants, and my community. And sometimes, being the age that I'm keep on adding years to, I don't know if it's the right time to sell my house, to move to a smaller place. Certainly the cash it would be, you kind of would have some peace of mind in that sense, God forbid, if you need it. But it's hard. It is very hard for me. All my memories are here. I had my great grandmother live to 102, living here. My grandmother, and we've been, apart from having to leave our beloved country, this has been our home, and all our family lived here for periods of time. So it is too many memories to be able to tell you, but I really miss when we had Thanksgiving and Christmas, and we would have 40 relatives, 40, 50 relatives there, and everybody helping in preparing and then cleaning up afterwards. Most of those are gone, or they live too far away. So it's kind of uncertain times that we don't know how to continue, what to do.
I echo those sentiments, but there is one truth that you cannot negate. Key Biscayne is not what it used to be. You go to church, you don't know anybody. You go to Winn-Dixie, you don't know anybody. Things are happening that you don't control. So it is out of your reach. It is not what it used to be. So the memories are there. The memories will always be with you. But the reality is that Key Biscayne is not the Key Biscayne that we used to love. The network that she tells you, yes, but you can develop a network on some other place. I mean, the problem is, where is that other place? We don't know. We have no idea where to go. Yes, I'm ready to get out, but I don't know where to go.
Yeah. Sounds like you're stuck in island paradise.
You got it. You said it.
That's right.
100% correct.
That's right. The more you think about it, and then just as he said, just going off the Key or coming into the Key, and you see that, are even the lush trees around crowded, park.
Just going through the gate, the feeling that you have looking at all that water is wonderful. That's like taking a tranquility pill. I mean, it's just like, no, it's just like having a drink. Okay, it settles you.
Yeah.
When I went to Georgia Tech, I used to fly home in Eastern Airlines at that time. And I remember when we were coming to land, we would go over Key Biscayne, and that would already start feeling wonderful. Being at 1,000 feet, looking at all the lights and saying, "That's home. That's my home."
Yeah. I know what you mean. I know when I tell my friends that they should move to the Key, they're like, "Well, I have to drive in and whatever." And I'm like, "Wait, something magical happens when you become a Key Biscayne resident. You hit the toll and you're home."
That
So you know exactly what I'm saying.
that feeling, I don't think it's the same if you live in other parts.
I don't know that, Ceci. I don't know.
It,
But you know,
we find
If you live in Kendall, I don't know if you feel the same way.
no.
I mean, I don't know. But one of the things I do have to say about you guys is that, I know that people change over time and groups change. But one of the positive things as well is that you guys are involved. So just like we met, I obviously wasn't with you guys when you guys were the beach club and the $1 parties or whatever. But one of the things that helps people, because it happens to my friends too. You get married, you go to work, and that's it. And then your friends are the same friends that you had when you were in high school doing the barbecues and and whatever. It's harder to make friends once you're older, which is okay. But if you're engaged, you meet people and you make more acquaintances and friendships in a different level. So I think you guys are super engaged and meeting different sorts of people and building new relationships, just like the one we have built. Anyways, Eduardo, Ceci, thank you so much for joining us and sharing
Thank you.
a little piece of your Key Biscayne story.
Thank you for the opportunity to express ourselves. You do a very good work.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.